Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the Rectified podcast. Today, my guest is Jenny Yu from Omi Foods, and I'm going to let her tell us more about what Omi Food is. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you so much, Sandy, and nice to meet everybody. My name is Jenny. I'm the co-founder for Omi Foods. Omi is a Vancouver-based company, and we make freeze-dry healthy snacks that are very delicious, healthy, and just really fun to enjoy. So thanks for having
Mhm.
me.
Of course. Jenny, what's freeze dried healthy snacks?
Yeah, so freeze-dry healthy snacks is basically snacks that we utilize a technology called freeze drying to really
Uh-huh.
remove the moisture and bring out the crunch of the products that we produce. So for our company, we now focuses on producing like freeze-dried fruits. So strawberries, blueberries, imagining having them, but in a very crunchy format, not like the
Mm-hmm.
little mushy or very
Yes.
moisturized formats that we have. So they are very shelf stable and they really bring out that funness towards snacks because people
Mm-hmm.
love chips, but can they be healthy too? Well, yes. We also have our freeze dried yogurt crunches. So those are kind of like snacks that really imagining your favorite like strawberry smoothie, but in a very crunchy snackable form. So that's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
how I would love to describe it. It's like once you take a little bite,
Yeah.
it gives that texture, but also melts in your mouth later on and really brings out that fun to food.
Before we dive in, a quick ask. If you're watching or listening, hit subscribe or follow on whatever platform you're tuning in from. And don't forget to leave a review. It helps more founders like you find the show and it helps us keep bringing these conversations to life. How did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, so it really started because I was on a very um I would say I was on a road to bring back health and wellness to my life because beforehand I was actually binge eating and drinking during COVID
Mm,
times. It really made me feel
yeah.
not so great at all. So when COVID finally died down a little bit, I was like, okay, I made a New Year resolution to really focus on my health and well-being and getting back to gym, but also focusing on the food that I eat. And
Yeah.
my husband and I, we actually had a New Year resolution to kick off our day with a good morning breakfast. However, that breakfast
Okay.
eventually became a bit bland, and we're like, how do we make it a bit more fun? So that is when my husband remembered that he used to try this product called freeze dried fruits back in Asia, and he really loved it.
Mm,
It's like there's no sugar added, no preservatives added. It's just fruits, but in little crunchy texture, it almost feels like there's sprinkles on top of
yeah.
yogurt and oatmeal. So this is kind of like how we started a company. We started looking in the market and to see if there's any options out there. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of options for freeze-dried fruit in the market back then. And like, okay, why don't we try creating them at home? So this is kind of how the idea got started.
Yeah.
We became obsessed with freeze drying in general. And then we
Yeah.
realized, okay, like freeze drying can actually make so much more products than just fruits. And that is also during a period when freeze-dried candy started to become popular. So people started
Mm-hmm.
to recognize this kind of method. And for us, we are really trying to bring that healthy aspect out
Yeah.
to this method of creating new food.
Mm-hmm. When did you realize that this could actually be a business?
That's a great question. So for the two of us, we at first we started sharing with friends and we got recommended to maybe go to farmers market and start selling there.
Mm,
So our journey really began by selling out in pop-up shops and pop-up markets. And then I remember 2 months in, one of the local cafes actually reached out to us and they're like, we saw your product. We really loved it. We love to carry it in our cafe that we're opening soon. And before then, we thought we're just gonna sell during the weekends. We still had our full-time jobs, but that message really triggered us to have a thought of, okay, like maybe this is something we can sell in
mm,
stores. So that is kind of how we started. And then we start diving into the wholesaling part of everything and see how to get our products into stores.
yeah.
But yeah, like if the cafe haven't reached out, we probably would just be selling at
Mm-hmm.
farmers market for the longest time being.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. There's always a story like that. Like every time I hear somebody's story, whether it's on the podcast or just like really known brands, that we see a lot of content about different stories about brands, and most of them they're like somebody reached out, and then I realized that this is something that I can do. It's always something like that. Tell me about the first version of Omi. I'm sure it evolved since day one until today. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Wow. It evolved so much, honestly. We actually changed our company's name as well during the first year. We were actually
Okay.
called another name. We were actually called Oatme, which in our head, it
Mm.
made a lot of sense because we were trying to look for toppings for oat bowls. But it didn't make sense in a customer's mindset because they're like, does your product have oats in them? And every time we had to explain, like, no, they're just freeze-dried
Yeah.
fruits and explain the background of the name, which made a lot of sense. But that is a big gap that we identified. I would say 6 months in when starting the company is don't ever start with a confusing brand name because that will like block a lot of the road ahead for you, especially when we go into retail. Like we aren't able to be there all the time to explain the background of our name. So
Hmm.
we have to quickly pivot. Um,
Yeah.
and even though like we adore that name so much. So that is like one major change is our company's name. The branding as well we got a completely new branding. At a time, it was at a time when we kind of had a little bit of budget. So
Yeah.
beforehand, it was all designed by myself just on Canva. But then we start building up the reputation of the company, building up some cash flow as well. And then we
Yeah.
finally have time to invest in a good, legit branding from a designer. So those 2, I would say, are the major changes of our
Yeah.
company so far. In terms of the product selection, I would say not too much changes to it. We did introduce much more new flavors. The strawberry
Hmm.
yogurt crunch, the blueberry yogurt crunches, those are all new flavors and new innovations that we put out. The first innovation that we put out is actually, I would say 4 months in, when we start like being obsessed
Yeah.
with freeze drying. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, why don't we just try to like play with our yogurt. So ever since then, it's just coming out with new flavoring alternatives. However, next month we're actually launching new flavors and a completely new product as well. So something
Ooh,
we're very excited to share with everybody.
can't wait. Let us know so that we share it with the audience.
Yes.
Of course. What was the hardest part of starting? So you realized that you have a viable product, that people want your product, that some stores want to carry it. But then what happened? Like, what was the hardest part of this whole equation? You're creating food, which is not easy. Also, it can't be super expensive. So you need to sell a lot to be able to make a lot of money. So there's all of these components that happen with food brands. What was the hardest part for you?
Wow. Every stage we have very different challenges,
Mhm.
and they're all like brand new challenges for us as well, just
Yeah.
because like both my husband and I, we started a company, but we did not come from any CPG or food background at all. We were actually working in health tech, building
Ooh.
technologies and systems for the local government.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
local health authorities. So it is very, very different. I feel like everything we have to learn brand new, like
Mhm.
level one kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the hardest would definitely be how to navigate retail. Obviously, selling directly to consumers or selling online, we get a bit higher margin.
Mhm.
However, in order for us, it's really about spreading the health and wellness mission and values that our brand carry, and we can't really do that without being in more establishments as well.
Yeah.
So really navigating through retail, trying to figure out what is the best cost of like pricing our product, and just all of those like financial data, which I
Mm.
have like no idea about and I have to learn from
Yeah.
scratch. Like right now, I'm still learning and trying to like
Of
play with
course.
different spreadsheets to like calculate everything. Um,
Yeah.
I would say that is the hardest part is to figure out whether our company is actually making money or not.
Mhm. This is a very big challenge in product-based businesses that people don't really think about because the cost is relatively high. And then if you're going to sell it to like a big retailer, because you obviously want to be there, um, you have to sell it at a very high discount, and then your margins become smaller. And then, it's like it's very tricky how to control the cost of goods sold, basically, along with the cost of the whole thing, and how you're going to structure your pricing. Um, Speaking of money, did you fund it yourself? Did you raise money? How did you actually fund starting this project together?
Yeah, we are actually currently still bootstrapping.
Mm-hmm.
Like finding fundings is definitely something that's not easy for building a business. And I think
Yeah.
what we did correct was that we actually didn't quit our jobs from day one. When starting
Mm,
the business, we actually just recently quit our jobs to really focus on building the company. And I feel like having that cash flow for us really maintain
mm,
our family's living situation, especially living in Vancouver. It's like not
yes.
it's pretty expensive, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So like keeping our jobs really allowed us to reinvest the money that we earned from the
Mm,
company back into the company without the worry of like, oh, like what if we're not being able to pay our salaries? What if we, have to sell our home? So
yeah.
it really like eased our mind a lot and helped us build the company a little bit more. But yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
right now we're still a bootstrap company.
If you're building a product based brand, you don't have to do it alone. The Scale Partner community is a free space where founders connect, exchange ideas, and support each other. Inside, you'll find workshops, honest conversations about growth, and people who truly get the journey. Join us for free at community.rectified.co/scale partner. If you could redo year one, or like the beginning, what would you change, looking back now and knowing what you know today?
Wow, there's like so many aspects that I would change but would not change because I feel like those are all really good lessons learned.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say to have a good plan in place. And I know like with a lot of like startups and stuff, you have to move fast. You have to like
Hmm.
adjust as you go kind of thing, which is how we
Yeah.
are at right now too. But I were really trying to find a trying to plan at least a year ahead to see what your cash flow is like, and
Yeah.
also to see, like, what kind of product that you're really hoping to push out. Like, for us, we kind of just were like, "Okay, we're making freeze-dried fruit today, and, okay, tomorrow we are going to sell at farmer's market." However, with freeze-dried fruit, there's still, like, a commodities, and then it kind of like our brand's mission kind of shifted along the way as we build the
Hmm.
company,
Yeah.
to more, like, being more innovative and bring out like cool snacks, not just commodity products. So I think you really have to figure out what you want your brand to be like
Yeah.
before starting. Um, or else I feel like you're just gonna have like a lot of
Yeah.
not I would not say regrets, but definitely, like, you have to, like, replan everything, you have to, like, discontinue SKUs, and you have lots of more
Yeah.
communications that you have to do, so I'll say to at least plan out a year ahead of where you want your
Hmm.
brand to grow into
Yeah.
and what you want your products to be like would be important, as well
Hmm.
as just figuring out like, always have a good margin calculator with you. The first time when we launched our product, um, again, like I mentioned, we wanted to only sell at farmers market or directly to consumers. So when we're pricing our product, we didn't really think a lot about it until we start going into retail and then start understanding that, different retailers have different margins that
Yeah.
they want to earn. And going backwards, it's like, oh, the MRSP actually didn't really make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Um, Lots of rejiggles that we have to learn through. So if the plan for your company is to get into retail one day, then you better price it right. I
Hmm.
think that was the biggest thing that I would
Yeah.
change is like really going back and figuring out the pricing of the product, how big of a size you want your product to be. Hmm.
Yeah, it's very important. Every retailer has a different set of requirements, let's say. And when you get started, especially in the CPG, well, in the food industry, you can't really imagine because you have no idea what's happening. So you wouldn't think about all of these things. It's something that people learn from their own mistakes, but sometimes there are some experts who are, who can help you out with going into these retail stores. They know like Costco wants this, and I don't know who, Loblaws wants that, and this person, and they help
Yes.
you out with it. But when you're bootstrapping and you're in the game, you wouldn't know exactly what to do. Tell me about the innovation part. How did you decide, or why do you decide that it's time to create a new product or to launch a new product?
Yeah, I think when we first began the company, when we're launching new product, it's really just like, oh, I thought this is interesting. I'll just give it a try.
Yeah.
With the yogurt crunch as well, it's just because from a morning inspiration, we were like rushing out the door, trying to send
Mm-hmm.
my son to school. And I was like, why can't I just take this yogurt bowl with freeze-dried fruit on top, like take it with me on the go? Um, so that's kind of how it sparked the innovation piece of the yogurt crunch. And I will have to
Mm-hmm.
say, like a lot of times it's thoughts and ideas comes randomly into your life and
Yeah.
um, make sure to jot them down always. But also nowadays we're trying to be more on trend as well. So always looking at the what the trend is
Yeah.
going, like protein is such a big hit, probiotic is such a big
Yes.
hit. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like can we adjust our product offerings to match what's in trend and what people are actually looking for nowadays? I think that's very important as well. So I think it's a good mixture of like
Yeah.
cool ideas and like what's on trend so your product will actually sell.
Fiber is coming back. Watch out.
Exactly. Fiber is coming back and like gotta adjust and like see if there's any like good fiber ingredients to add to the
Yeah.
product.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's always something new in the food industry, but nowadays, if you put protein on anything, it seems that that's the trick. That's doing the trick.
Yeah.
Just like it's AI in tech, you put AI on everything and people click on it, and if it's a video, they watch it, etc. And the food, if it's protein, they at least try it once just to see.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really interesting
Exactly.
what's happening. um, um, I was looking at your website a few weeks earlier and I really liked it. It's really, I mean, you're happy when you go to your website because of all the colors and all the nice graphics and all of that. Um, did you how did you decide that this is the direction you want to take for your brand, like all this colorful happy feelings, instead of like there's also a lot of brands who go very minimalistic, simple, all of that. How did you decide that this is the place you want to be?
Yeah, I mean, with our products, the first thing we wanted to do is to spark lots of joy. And I think nothing sparks joy than like looking at the rainbow.
Yeah.
I think that's my son's favorite thing to look at. It's like every time there's a rainbow, he's so happy and excited.
Yeah.
That's the kind of feeling our brand wanted to convey to the audience is, happiness, joyfulness, and
Yeah.
one thing as well is our packaging. So beforehand,
Yeah.
we actually had packaging with clear windows. So you can see
Okay.
exactly what are in those bags. And because like strawberries are red, blueberries are blue, dragon fruits are purple, they're very, very colorful, very
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it just drags your attention when you look at them. However, we realized that again, that's like one mistake we learned is freeze-dried fruit. They're actually not really good with like clear window packaging because the sunlight will
Oh,
go away and it will like,
yeah.
yeah, it's not great for the product itself. So we have to change it up. So there's no clear windows anymore. And that is the
Mm,
time where we're like, how do we convey that feeling of happiness and rainbowness, when we don't have those clear windows? So then
mm-hmm.
we're like, okay, then we'll just make our packaging colorful. So that is something that from day one, we know from the start that we're
Yeah.
not going to go with a minimalist kind of
Yeah,
design because
yeah.
it's not what our brand is like. We wanted to
Mm,
really spark that joy out
yeah.
of people. And when people open their pantry in the morning, they see bags of Omi. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Like it's another
Yeah.
day. I kick off the day with a good breakfast, kind of the concept. Hmm.
Yeah. It's true because, like I said, when I went on the website, I'm like, oh, this is so, it's fun, it's happy, it's fresh. You can sense that. Do you sell a lot on your website, like direct to consumer, or is your company more focused on retail? Like, what's the best channel for you today?
Yeah, we're an omnichannel company, so we do sell in both places. I would say it's a
Hmm.
good mix of like 50-50. So 50%
Okay.
guys from our website and other 50 purchases from
Yeah.
retailers. But yeah, as we get into more retailers, we do see that number kind of shifted a little bit with more retail purchases
Mm.
versus online.
Okay, that's nice. And how are you spreading the word about your brand? What do you do to tell people that you exist basically? Because it's a completely new product, it's a new brand. Like people need to learn more about you and what your product is about.
Yeah, I mean, having a good marketing strategy definitely helps a lot. There's so many people online nowadays. So we make sure
Yeah.
that for our social media, let's say, we have different content pillars that we focus on. So there's like the
Yeah.
founder story, the feedback part. There is the part where, how to be creative with using oatmeal, like
Mm.
strawberries, like recipes. And then also there's the part where just being more fun and being more trendy with what is in trend right now on social media. I think that's what drags the most people's attention nowadays
Yes.
as well. As
Yes.
well as just showing up in person. I feel like nothing connects with people better than actually showing up yourself as founders and talking about
Mm.
your product, like being on this podcast with you. It definitely
Yes.
spreads the word a lot. And for us too, like going into offline events, nowadays we're still going to markets, not for the
Mm.
purpose of really like selling per se,
Yeah.
but just to make sure that, people can get connected with us. If they have questions, they can ask their
Yeah.
questions. They can be curious and really trying to build that people to people connection. There's
Hmm.
so many brands out there nowadays, but why
Yes.
does people want to pick your brand versus other freestyle food
Exactly.
brands? There's a reason. I think we're really trying to build up that connection with people so they will choose you versus others.
Yeah. Also, in the food industry, it's nice to have in-person events or in-person presence because also they get to taste, and see, um, and they will like it or not. Sometimes people just don't buy it because they see a cardboard box out there and they cannot imagine what the product is about, especially if they've never tried it before. So it would be something nice to actually, try it when you're in store or in an event or in a farmer's market. And
Mhm.
then obviously one person will tell the other person also, and like word of mouth will also build on your brand. Do you
Yeah.
also I saw your social media again. Every time I see everything, whether it's on the website or on your social. But do you also do ads, paid ads, or is it just organic?
Yeah, we actually do paid ads, but I would say our ad strategy is like very, very bad. Like I
Okay.
usually just boost the Instagram post and recently we started
No.
digging into Google ads. I
Oh my
know,
God.
like
Okay.
yeah, it's not great at all. I actually just
Yeah.
finished the call like before we hopped on this call together with the ads company as well to see if there's better way to utilize the
Yeah.
money that we're spending on ads. Um, totally recognizing they're super
For sure.
important. We just
Yeah.
have to make sure that they're set up
Yeah.
properly, which we aren't right now.
Yeah. For sure you can use the money in a different way rather than boosting the post. But I
Exactly.
mean, if it's working with your organic content and all of that, then that's really amazing. And I always tell people when organic works later on, you can go into ads, paid ads, and the ads will perform better because you know what's working and what's not working. You're not
Exactly.
just trying random things. So that's a good thing. But
Yes.
please don't spend money on boosting the post.
I
Just
know,
saying.
like, I definitely realized it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Um, what is like sometimes you receive a message from one of the people, your customers, and it just warms your heart like, oh my God, I did this, or like they told me this about me, or something like that. Um, do you have an experience like that where somebody wrote something and it just like, oh my God, and it made you so happy?
Oh my gosh. Yes, so many times. Like there's followers of ours that follow us at the very beginning of our company when we're still called Oatme. And there was one day that we received an email from a customer and she was like, it's I'm so happy to see your company grow. Like, I
Wow.
met Han, which is my co-founder, Han.
Mm.
I met Han at when he was like sampling at Yaletown and just immediately fell in love with the product. I'm so happy to see you guys grow like a year, two
Wow.
years later. And those kind of messages, it just really warms your heart,
Mm.
especially during
Mm.
difficult times. Like, it's the
Yeah,
messages that keeps you growing. So we have, like, a little
exactly.
booklet of all the printouts of the emails that we receive or, like, the Instagram DMs that we receive from customers were,
Oh,
like, just so touching, and that is called, like, the book of, like, warmth for us. So when we're, like,
I
feeling
love
down
it.
yeah, like, when we're feeling down or, like, when we got to, like, a big challenging moment, we just open that book and just it just, like, really reminds us of, like, why we started
Mm.
the company, the kind of impact that we're making at people's lives is just
Yeah.
feels so good.
I should do that too. I keep forgetting, in every business there are some difficult days and there are some really good days when you're super happy. But on those difficult days, maybe I need a book like that. I should
Yeah,
collect I should collect my DMs.
exactly. Like, I'm a huge fan of, like, scrapbook making, so every time there's,
Oh,
like, yeah, things happening, I just wanna print it and, like, paste it, and you can take a look
yeah.
at it because emails and, like, DMs get lost so easily on your
Mm,
computer,
yeah,
unless you really, like, have it in front of you, and then you realize, "Oh, like, I remember
exactly.
that." Mhm.
Exactly, exactly. If you're building a product based brand, you don't have to do it alone. The Scale Partner community is a free space where founders connect, exchange ideas, and support each other. Inside, you'll find workshops, honest conversations about growth, and people who truly get the journey. Join us for free at community.rectified.co/scale partner. Uh, we've had a little bit of technical difficulty, which is why you see Jenny's background changed, but we're back and we're going to continue with a new question. Jenny, you're working with your husband on a daily basis. Do you think it would have been more difficult or easier if you were doing this by yourself instead of together?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like it would be more difficult, if I do it myself, because as a bootstrap company, there's so many tasks that you have to work on, like, the task bucket is always there, but
Mm-hmm.
having 2 people dividing up the tasks and really, like, utilizing what you're good at, um,
Yeah.
to carry out those tasks is way more manageable and easier too. And I think the good thing with having a co-founder in general is that, you two have different skill sets that you can really
Yeah.
leverage on. Like for me, I'm really good at like marketing. I'm good at like um coordinating and organizing everything. And for my husband, he's more like a people's person. So he loves talking to
Mm,
people. He loves building relationships. So those kind of things, like I just feel like we work so good together because
yeah.
we have our strongest skill sets that we can put into the company and really contribute
Mm,
it. Yeah, and as well as just like having somebody there to always bounce ideas off of and somebody
yeah.
who is like going through the same thing, the same challenges with you and to like comfort each other.
Mm,
I think that is just golden when you have a
yeah.
co-founder. And I think, yeah, for my husband and I, we also like live together as well. So we can really like coordinate our childcare together, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think there's like a lot of benefits with having a co-founder in general. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think it'll just be way more challenging if I'm doing it by myself.
That's pretty cool. Jenny, one last question before we wrap this up. How has how has being a founder changed you as a person? Like how has doing this business changed you as a person?
Wow, I feel like starting this business really gave me so much confidence. It really allowed me to believe in myself, believe in the decisions that I'm making, and knowing that I'm capable of doing so much more
Mm,
things. I think beforehand, when working in a corporate job, like obviously you have I was at a leadership role as well. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, like, I'm able to make decisions for the team too, but there's like levels of approvals that you have to go through.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes not always that your idea would be carried out. But right now, like building on this business, when I have an idea, when I really wanted to carry out, I can just execute it right away. And that feeling of like
Yeah.
capability, that feeling of like, your idea becoming true and actually seeing results. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad,
Mm,
at least you tried it. I think that just gives me so much more confidence and power. Um,
yeah.
yeah, to be like, I can do this actually. Like, I'm capable.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. You have one last advice for someone starting a food product business today?
I would say, I guess it doesn't matter what kind of business that you're building, but as long as you have a viable product, you have a good plan. Doesn't have to be like a 10-year plan, but at least like
Yeah.
a couple months of plan in place, you have enough cash flow, just do it. Like you never know
Mm,
what if this idea would
yeah.
be good or not unless you tried it. Before building Omi, I actually had like a grip sock business too, and I had like other businesses that didn't really work out at the end of the day. But I'm just so happy that I did it, and I know that it would work or not. And Omi just turns out to be the one that we're pursuing for a way longer time. So
Yeah.
doesn't matter what doesn't matter if you have a I'll say like a solid plan or not, but if you have the idea, just try to carry it out and see if you'll make it.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, Jenny, for being a guest on the podcast. And to all the listeners, we'll be back next week with a new episode.